Hey there, we're backstage at North Shore for the Grinning Idiot Comedy Club, and we're here with Adam Ethan Crow. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little tired.
Oh, you're going to go on stage later. How are you feeling about it?
I'm fine. I'm good. It's kind of like, yeah, it's how I earn a crust, so I'm kind of used to it by now, you know. So, yeah, I've been running around all week, so I'm a little bit tired, but it should be fun.
How long have you been a comedian for?
I'm doing stand-up for about 8 years, only living at it for about 6. But I used to mainly compare up until about 3-4 years ago, and I kind of got bored with it and had a few stories, a few things I want to talk about. So I started doing sets, and yeah, it's been going really well. I've been really lucky.
So do you travel about a lot to different places?
Yeah, I mean, I've just come back from doing a weekend in Glasgow where I was doing 2 shows a night. In January, I'm in LA doing shows, in Melbourne Comedy Festival, then New Zealand, then Brighton Comedy Festival, then Edinburgh.
You're all over, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's better than having a real job, and I've done that too. So, in between that, I do shows every week. So yeah, I'm just a jobbing comic. It's good.
So what did you do before you were a comedian?
All sorts of stuff. I used to do a bit of journalism. I wrote a bit for a few newspapers and things. I worked in piano factory. I sold insurance, all kinds of stuff. And then about 9 years ago, my girlfriend died, and I went to China. Came back, got drunk in a bar. It is I did an impromptu gig. I went over to him and went, "You're really funny," because he'd never heard that before. And 6 weeks later, I was getting booed off stage trying to be funny. So yeah.
And here you are now.
Yeah, in
all over
a
the
broom
place.
cupboard in Newcastle. I've made it, guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the decor you dreamed of, I guess.
Living the dream. Yeah, it's good.
So, do they sound good?
Yeah, do I get nervous when I go on stage? No, not at all.
Don't get nervous at all.
When you first start, you worry a bit, obviously, but I think it's like any job. Once you kind of know what you're doing, or you have a rough idea of how you work, once you reach a certain level in any profession, I think you have a degree of competency. So for me, it's pretty much the same. I kind of go on stage, I'll throw out a few jokes which will test possibly the IQ of the audience as well as what they're into, and then I can usually use that as a barometer to work out where to go. So no, I don't get nervous. I'm really lucky. Oscar Wilde said, if you can find a job that you enjoy, you never work a day in your life, and I kind of cracked it. So yeah, it's good.
Perfect. What's the best gig you've ever done?
Probably one that depends. They vary. I mean, best gigs, you get things like the Glee Club or Banana Cabaret, which is just amazing rooms that people are clever, they're intelligent. You can go down there and put out flares which they get, you know. Whereas you play some rooms and they just stare at you and go, "Make more noises," you know, it's fucking tards. So, you know, it depends on the room. One of the best gigs I've done was probably, I didn't do it the last 2 years, but for 3 years in a row I did the Reading Comedy Tent, which is like 4,000 people in a tent doing comedy. That's wicked. That's really cool. So yeah, when you get that many people laughing or on the same page, blows your mind, man. It's really good.
Do you ever get any heckles during acts?
I get a lot of heckles. I don't get a lot of heckles. I get a few. But I kind of deal with them quite well. They're never really, people think that they're joining in or they're helping the show, but a lot of the time just some drunk dick. So I had someone flick a cigarette at me once, which I just left the stage and knocked him out.
Gosh.
So yeah, I dealt with it badly.
I mean, have you ever had any abuse from an act, like even more than that, or is that the worst?
No, I mean, what you do is you get a few drunk people trying to impress their friends. They're trying to be funny. And I think it's usually quite easy to deal with that kind of situation. I mean, sometimes you'll have someone who'll throw out something quite clever, which is quite funny. I can't really remember what it is, but there's a few times I've been on and you'll be doing a show and someone actually say something which is really good and isn't really a hindrance. It's more of a compliment, more of a addition to what you're doing, so it's not too shabby. But on the whole, most people, they come to comedy and they pay to see a show, and you know, you put on a show, and if you're entertaining and it works, then they're going to sit and enjoy it as opposed to just shout at you. So yeah.
What is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you in a gig?
I was in the green room having sex with this girl, and Reginald D. Hunter walked in, and she looked up at him and he looked at her, and I went, "Okay then," and he just walked out again. And she didn't blink, she didn't phase, which is totally cool. Weird. There are women who will sleep with comedians, you see, even though we're kind of unattractive because we hold court and we're slightly different. They're what are known as gag hags or clown bikes because comedians ride them home after the gig. But God bless every one of you. So yeah, that's about it. But that was a strange thing. I was in Southampton. Because Reg was just so cool, like, oh, yeah, there you are. That's really cool. Just walked out, so it's weird. Was that the kind of story you're looking for, or no?
Oh hell yeah! That's what we were.
Yeah, I've had fights after gigs and stuff, and it's kind of weird. Depends on where you are and what you're doing. You'll play some real just shithole sometimes. It's kind of weird. You know, you get booked to do a show and you turn up and they haven't set it up properly, and it's just weird. And there was known as heavy boot gigs. I don't know if you know, but when people are training for races, they wear heavy boots to build speed. It makes them their legs drag like a drag factor. And comics, if you play a gig and it's not put together properly, or it's shit, or it's full of just idiots, they're known as heavy boot gigs because you're kind of like training for the good shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, so everybody's learning.
Awesome. You know, you said you weren't going to say any jokes, but can we possibly get you to say one?
No.
No, that's. For
Well,
you.
I got a good joke for you.
Oh, go on.
What says awesome every 5 fucking seconds? You.
Oh.
Awesome. You've said it like 10 times, man, in 5 seconds.
I do love that word.
Yeah,
it's
you
one
do.
of my favourites.
So that's my joke.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's good to meet you.
Cool.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you, man.
Thanks for doing the interview.